What's up, guys? Rob here with DNR Outdoors. Wanted to make this video today just to show you guys the upgrades I've done on my kayak, as well as give you guys a little bit of tips if you're trying to do this yourself. So we'll start all the way back here at the transom. The transom's made out of 1/2-inch aluminum tube. I couldn't tell you how thick that it is, but it shouldn't be too hard to find. And holding it down is these little 1/2-inch brackets. I don't know what the name of those would be, but I'm sure you can find them online. There's just one hole here and a C that goes over it. And I have it secured into the boat with 4 of these clips. But you can't just screw those into your boat. It won't be solid enough to hold your transom. This transom ain't going anywhere. It's rock solid. On the other side, I reached through this hole in the kayak, and there's about a 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch piece of aluminum on the back side of this that's about this long. That let me be able to torque these bolts down. It's got a nut on the other side of it. I can torque these down as tight as I want, not worry about messing up the kayak, not worrying about damaging the kayak or anything. So we got 4 of those with aluminum on the back sides of all of them. The transom out here is just the aluminum tubes run down to a 90-degree piece of aluminum with 2 bolts through a piece of wood, and that holds the transom on. Now, my battery box right now is just a milk crate. I need to get an actual battery tray, and I'm gonna upgrade this battery to a deep cycle battery. It's just a starting battery right now. Took the head off my trolling motor, ran my hot and ground wire to a PWM, which is a pulse width modulator. If you're thinking about putting a trolling motor on your kayak and you haven't heard of one of these, I would definitely check it out. What this does is it allows me to turn my motor on, 1, without the head, obviously, and 2, without having to reach back. You got this switch, you got this knob hooked up into this PWM, and one way you hit the button is going to be forward, the other way is going to be reverse, and you got an off switch. If you've done any research into this, you probably already know this much already, but as you see, if I turn my switch on and I twist my knob here, it puts power straight to my motor, which is very convenient because it would be a pain reaching all the way back there to grab that tiller handle. Another thing I want to talk about, I've done a lot of research into this before I had all the parts to be able to do it. A lot of people like mounting their transom in these holes right here. I didn't do that because I'm not a fan of it. I think it looks kind of ugly, for one, and for the other thing, I think I'm going to be able to get more speed with it in the back, but I don't want to quote myself on that. But steering, moving on to steering before I get sidetracked. Got 2 more pieces of aluminum, been at a 90-degree angle, and a hose clamps holding it on with just some nylon rope. You could use paracord for this. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Tied on 2 ends. This steering system is temporary, might I add. I will be changing this soon. And it just comes down, tied in a knot around the seat. So this will always be in front of me. These sides can never get switched whenever I sit in here. So it's not a horrible steering system for now, but I do want to switch to feet steering so that I never have to use my hands for anything except the power, you know. But that's pretty much it, I do believe. Again, if you're going to do this the way that I've done it with these clamps, you need to make sure you have something on the back side of them, or you're going to rip your plastic. It's not going to be able to hold strong enough. But if you do it like this, it works. So let's put this thing in the water, and I'll show you guys that it does work and it does move the kayak. All right, now we're in open water so I can drop my motor. I'll show you guys how I do that. Had to paddle through all that grass. So this is my steering system sitting in front of me. So I turn around on my knees. Just hit that switch. We loosen our knob. And our motor's in. Now this isn't the most stable thing turning around to drop the motor, but it isn't horrible. I don't feel like I'm gonna get hurt doing this. But eventually I would like to run a rope of some kind right here where I can pull my motor up and down without having to turn around. That would be the not only the safest but probably the best way to do that. So I'll just move my rods here out of the way of my steering. Put our switch in forward, turn our knob. And off we go. So you can see the steering works here. When I pull the left side, I go left. When I pull the right side, I go right. And we're moving. I checked it on GPS. I'm getting right below 4 miles an hour with this setup, which is exactly what I was looking for. If I could get 4 out of it, I was going to be happy, and I got exactly 4. So alright, so a couple of questions that I expect to get asked. What does it do to the stability of a kayak when you put a motor on it and a battery in the back that weighs 45 pounds? I mean, kayak is still stable, and I'll show you right here. I can make some pretty sharp turns with it and not worry about stability at all. Now, some things I need to work on. I've already mentioned the steering. This steering system, it works pretty good. I can go one-handed, control my knob here, and just use my fists like this to turn myself, and it works pretty good. However, I do want to eventually have some kind of hands-free steering so I can be fishing right now while I'm trolling around. That's the end goal. Another thing, my PWM is just over here in this pouch. Eventually I would like to build a little box for it so that I can either mount it here in the middle or here on the side. Other than that, this works out great. I think it's around, I would say you can have this whole swap done, put a motor on, motor included, battery included, hardware included, for under $150 on this kayak. This is an older model. This is a 2017, but you can get a 2018 model, 2019 model, a little bit newer, one of these kayaks for 300 bucks all day. The Rona's got the prices up a little bit, but after that goes away, you can get one of these kayaks for $300, and you can put what did I say, about $130, $140 into it. For $450, $500, you can have a motorized kayak. If you go to a dealership and buy a motorized kayak with a motor on it and everything, you're gonna spend $2,500, $3,000 probably at least. So this little project turned out really good. I'm really happy with it. Couldn't have done any of this without the help of my papaw, but I taught him some stuff about the PWM and how that works, and he helped me with the transom. So it was a group effort for sure. Hopefully this wind isn't too bad, but yeah, this is a video just showing how I wired up the trolling motor on my Lifetime Tamarack. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like. You can drop any questions you might have in the comments. It's been Rob with DNR Outdoors. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.